Welcome back to my views and news. Another news bulletin for you. New stories from Ethiopia and Eritrea. Firstly, the Patriarch of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church visited Tigray too, but Tigray archbishops did not meet with the Orthodox Church delegation. Now we are seeing a campaign that the Patriarch was humiliated in Tigray today because those who were appointed by the Patriarch, they refused to meet with the Patriarch. So it's a snub, it's an embarrassment, it's humiliation. And secondly, people are raising questions about Tigray interim government. Tigray interim government, Tigray archbishop, they have been accusing the church of blessing the war. But they happily received 20 million from the Patriarch today. Secondly, viewers, Gojam, Baso Liben, Voreda. Yesterday I reported that in Jubbe and Kok there were clashes between Fano fighters and security forces. And today we saw some videos showing that local elders, religious elders are trying to mediate between Fano fighters and security forces. Thirdly, viewers, farmers are stepping up their protests in the Amhara region. Today, they surrounded regional agricultural office in Bahir Dar. Hundreds, some say thousands, arrived in Bahir Dar from South Gondar reportedly. And lastly, viewers, Eritrean Brigade Nihamedo head John Black is out of prison. He was arrested on Thursday before the start of festival in Gießen, Germany. He and dozens of others were arrested by Gießen police. John Black is free now, reportedly. He has released a message after his release from prison. Firstly, viewers, Tigray bishops today refused to meet with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church delegation. The delegation was led by the Patriarch Abune Mathias. Abune Mathias, some other archbishops and some Ethiopian influential people visited Tigray today. They were welcomed by Tigray interim President Gata Choreda. No reception from the Orthodox Church leaders of Tigray. These church leaders of Tigray welcomed Patriarch Abune a few days ago when she visited Tigray. But they were not ready to receive Abune Mathias the Patriarch and other church elders. Why? Firstly, was the delegation intimated in advance that the delegation will not be received by the Tigray church archbishops? That Tigray church archbishops were not ready to meet with this delegation. Yes, reportedly. According to my sources, the Patriarch and his companions, they were intimated in advance. Before their departure from Addis Ababa, they were told clearly that Tigray archbishops wouldn't receive the delegation. Despite this refusal from Tigray clergy to receive the Patriarch and others, the delegation pressed ahead with this visit. So we cannot say it's a humiliation, it's a snub. Though Patriarch is the highest Orthodox authority in Ethiopia. He is the one who appointed these archbishops, bishops, and today churches were closed. Doors of churches were closed on the Patriarch, on his comrades when he visited Tigray. It shouldn't have happened, by the way. There was no problem. Had Tigray archbishops met with the Patriarch, they could have expressed their views. Why did they boycott the meeting? Boycott is never a solution. They should have said that they have formed a separate Member Islam religious structure. Why did they boycott? Boycott is not a solution, by the way. Boycott is seen as a snub, as a way of humiliating someone. It shouldn't have happened. Despite the boycott, the Archbishop, the Patriarch visited Tigray today because he thinks that maybe through involvement of Tigray interim government and through these engagements, gradually the Tigray archbishops can be convinced to rejoin the church. Secondly, what about the money? If Tigray is so unhappy with the church, I see messages from Tigray activists, Tigray journalists too, they are also very critical of the church, as if this war was fought by Abune Abraham and Abune Petros. This war was not fought by Abune Abraham, Abune Petros. Yes, they might have been backing it, but the war was fought by Bahir Dar. If Bahir Dar and Varede can shake hands, if they can sit and eat together, if Getachew and Ridwan can sit and eat together, why can't Mara Christos and Abune Abraham and Abune Petros sit and talk? I think Tigray archbishops should take a position. They should announce independence if they want to be independent. Otherwise, snubbing is not a solution. And why did Tigray interim government receive 20 million birds from the church? If church blessed the war, Tigray interim government should have declined this offer of financial assistance from the church. But here, Tigray interim government is playing a double card. It is playing good cop, bad cop. It says that it has nothing to do with the Member Islam. The religious structure in Orthodox structure in Tigray is independent. It has no, that interim government has no influence. It cannot interfere in Member Islam's activities. Well, no one would believe what Tigray interim government is saying. We know religious structures in Ethiopia and Tigray. Member Islam was formed with consultation. Tigray interim government, TPLF, all were on board. And back then TPLF was accusing the church as well. And today TPLF leader Getachew received 20 million from the church. And the 20 million check was signed by Abune Abraham and Abune Petros reportedly. Pictures are being shared if I am not incorrect. Those two archbishops who allegedly blessed the war, they are sending 20 million birds, happily being received by the main church, but church archbishops, Tigray church archbishop, and ready to meet with the Patriarch. At the same time, Tigrayans have soft corner for Abune Mathias, that Abune Mathias is suffering. He's in the middle. He always wanted to speak, wanted to condemn the war. Why do Tigrayans generally they have soft corner for Mathias, Abune Mathias, just because he's Tigrayan? This is the primary reason. This ethnicity is embedded in how people think, how people perceive others as friends or foes or enemies. Otherwise, Abune Mathias could have resigned back then if the war was being backed by the church. He did not. He held on to his position, and still Tigrayans respect him. They say that he is the one who could not speak, he was silenced, but he felt for Tigrayans. So, I think ethnicity matters in Ethiopia. He is Tigrayan, that is why he is loved by people of Tigray. But Tigray archbishops should come up with a position. Boycott is no solution. The Patriarch should not be humiliated. Patriarch wants to keep the church united, If Tigray wants to remain part of church, it should announce. If it wants to split, it should make announcement as well. Boycott will be used as propaganda. Amhara hardliners have already launched a campaign. They say our fathers were humiliated in Tigray. Like before war, the mediators from different walks of life visited Tigray, and back then it was said that they were humiliated. They were not received properly. Same is happening here. Amhara hardliners, they have launched a campaign. They say that Orthodox fathers were humiliated in Tigray. Though, as I said earlier, they were communicated. The Orthodox Church elders had been communicated by the relevant quarters that Tigray archbishops would not receive them, they would not meet with them. Secondly, viewers, Gojam, East Gojam, where last night I reported that there was fighting in two towns of Avoreda between Fano fighters and security forces. Baso Liben, Voreda in East Gojam, in Jubbe and Cork, there have been clashes between the two sides. People injured too, some Fano fighters injured too. And the pattern that we have been seeing again is on display here, that locals are now becoming involved. Church elders, Muslim elders, they are not trying to resolve this issue. They are mediating. Videos, pictures are being shared of these intermediaries who are talking to government officials, talking to police officials. They want to stop the operation. They say people are dying. Civilians are dying too. Fano fighters are local civilians. Operation should stop. Talks have been held reportedly. We have been seeing that in almost all major operations against Fano in the Amhara, that locals become involved. Orthodox church elders, they take to the streets. They talk to ENDF police. ENDF, then they have to step back. Entire towns come out to protest. So in Cork and Jubbe, reportedly, talks have been held between religious elders and Ethiopian security officials to stop the operation against Fano. We have a clip of some religious elders who are on their way to talk to government officials in Baso Liben. Thirdly, viewers, fertilizer shortage is a problem for the farmers in the Amhara region. We have seen several protests by farmers in the Amhara region. No protest in Somali region, no protest in Afar, no protest in Oromia, no protest in Southwest, in SNNPR. Protests just in the Amhara region. People say this issue of fertilizers is being politicized, but others say there is a real lack of fertilizers in the Amhara region. People are angry. Farmers are angry because they know that if this farming season passes, they won't be able to feed their children. So they are worried still. On the one hand, the prices are very high. On the other hand, the supply is not enough. Today, farmers from Dera in South Gondar marched towards Bahir Dar, the capital. Around 2,000 reportedly entered Bahir Dar. They laid siege to Amhara Regional's agricultural office. The siege went on for several hours. No one was allowed to enter or leave the agricultural department building. We have seen protests in front of this building a week ago too. But this protest was a big one. We have a clip for you showing angry Amhara farmers chanting slogans in Bahir Dar, Ethiopian capital. Ethiopia is importing fertilizers. Fertilizer subsidy is also being given, but still there is shortage of fertilizer in the Amhara region. Watch this clip from Bahir Dar showing hundreds of farmers protesting. Lastly, viewers, Brigade Nihamido head John Black is out of prison. Brigade Nihamido was formed last year, I think, to stop Eritrean festivals in Europe. Eritrean opposition groups united to some extent in Europe to stop Eritrean government-backed festivals. They say that these festivals are used to raise funds for Eritrean government, which is allegedly involved in massive human rights abuses in the country. This brigade members are involved in activities like clashes with security forces, like storming the venues. They stormed some venues last year, especially in Gishan, but this year they faced hard times at the hands of Gishan police, which arrested dozens of these Brigade Nihamido members. John Black was arrested too. He was arrested on Thursday before the start of festival. The festival in Gishan, Germany kicked off on Saturday. It came to an end yesterday. John Black remained in custody for around 3 days. This morning he was released from prison. After his release, he released a video message. He said, "This fight against dictator Isaias Afwerki will go on." Around 100 were arrested in Gishan. More than 20 police officers were injured. Some protesters were injured too. Gradually, people who were arrested are being released. And John was arrested before the start of clashes between security forces and Brigade Nihamido members. So he was arrested for alleged online spreading of hate, spreading of threats against festival organizers, against police, etc. He's out of prison. Will other Eritrean Brigade Nihamido opposition members will be released? That remains to be seen. Take a listen to what he said. He's saying that fight will continue against dictator Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean ruler.
ሰላም ከመየሎም ለሃንዲሁም ዝኾነ ሰብአይ ትክን ውጪ አይስእኒ መጽና ኣለና ኣብ መስመርካ ኣለና ሰላም ነቶም ናእሽተ ሕዋተይ ኣባላት ብርጌድና ሓመዱን ካልኦትን እንኳዕ ናይ ትማል ዝነበረ ኦፕሬሽን ጅግንነትኩም ስብነትኩም ኣራእኹም ኣብ ቀጻልነት ምናልባት ሓደ ጌጋታት ክህሉ ክእልን የርእዩ ቀጻልሃ ይህን ክንባሃለሉ ኢና ነፍስና ብጎዲብላማ ናተሓርደ ቁስልና ኩሉ ግዜ ውሽጥና ጌርና ክንከይድ ኣለና እዚኣ ክብለኩም ደሊ ኣብ ቀጻሊ ምሸት የረኸብና ቲክቶክ I love you ጆን ብላክ ኩሉ ግዜ ዝጎድፎ ሰራውር ሓረግ ቀሊል ከም ዘይኮነ ዝኾነ ሰብ ክፈልጥ ክኸዳለዎ እና ቃልሰና ዘሎ ርትዓውን ፍትሓውን